I feel like the audience and people up here are not willing to teach. Mel is the only one. I say that because a lot of times when they read about the questions that I ask, they go, I can't believe Queenzflip asks the stupid questions, not knowing that I'm really learning in real time and I've just been secluded in life. I just been in my own world, so I come up here, I want to learn.
You asked some interesting questions.
They
be a little.
But then you asked some
you know,
very
Jay-Z started Rockefeller with Biggs and Dame together?
That's dumb. But what I'm saying is the questions I ask, when I read it after they post it, like, that does sound crazy. That is stupid.
You just got to remember that most of the audience is licensed. If you remember that one little tidbit that most of them have a license.
You know, Joe, you could say, I learned in real time. A lot of I just like, oh, word? I just been in my own world, man.
Yeah, but you're not up here to learn. You're up here to work. That's like if I go buy a Red Bull and Gatorade come out. It's like you are just be some energy. So you just jump in, and then chill. You ain't gotta. You guys, so I have a question for you. You ask more questions than that.
I do that stupid shit.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. What year did Coca-Cola sell more than Pepsi?
It'd be like questions a kid asks you and shit.
Yeah, it's like this pod, if we was all just like left back. Like,
Joe, that's not like,
if we got
Joe, you see a man that?
No, I'm not talking to you. It's all of us. There's no I in team. It's all of us. Like if all of us got on the short dollar van, the short one.
But it was yellow, and we got to school that way.
They stayed in the same classroom all day.
In the trailer.
Right there in the back.
And ate pizza.
Get your laugh out.
I'm not laughing.
I want to thank you for taking your time to help me, Mel.
And
I'm on your case a lot, but you help me.
And there's times where you do ask some very thought-provoking questions.
Thank you, Mel.
You know,
You
I'm
do.
shooting you some.
You know, I try to
The
answer
funny
your
part,
questions, too.
yeah, that's why she's so funny. Because you help her in real life. Like, with all her pontifications. In
So
real
she has
life,
no problem answering.
Yeah, in real life, you are a solid source of info for her.
But in pod life?
Yeah, in pod life.
Hey, one time I was watching something and I asked a question. I saw Mel's face. I'm like, look, that dumb. Mel's like, huh? she tried to play it off. You got to watch these cameras.
My bad.
What unfolds between them isn't just talk. It's the modern version of something ancient. The black barbershop, the stoop, the backseat ride home after a night out, where men measure knowledge by the force of their delivery. But in this space, microphones record what used to stay between walls. And that changes everything. Flip enters the pod as an outsider. Not in the sense of alienation, but of a man still finding his rhythm in a room that already has its tempo. He's used to spectacle, viral moments, energy, chaos. Joe's show, for all its sound, is built on something else. Conversation as competition, insight as performance. To sit there in that circle of familiarity is to be measured not only by what you know, but how you say it. Flip admits that he's learning in real time, that his questions, the ones the audience mocks online, come from a place of curiosity, not ignorance. But this is a cruel paradox of modern media. Authenticity reads as incompetence, and curiosity can sound like clownery when filtered through 1,000 clips on social media. The audience that came up watching Joe Budden rant about record labels or dissect industry gossip doesn't want to see someone learn, they want to see someone know. This is where the conversation takes its truest shape. Joe, Ice, and Ish have lived this format long enough to understand its hidden rules. You can't walk into that room with your guard down. Vulnerability is currency, but only when it's artfully packaged. Flip, still raw, doesn't know how to wrap his earnestness in the performance required for podcast survival. He asks his questions straight, unarmored. When he stumbles, the others laugh. But under the laughter, there's something more complicated, a kind of respect mixed with irritation. Joe reminds him that he isn't there to learn, but to work. That distinction is the heart of this entire exchange, and the heart of what it means to perform knowledge in the age of content. When Joe tells him that it's more than a jab, it's an articulation of what every working black man knows. The world doesn't pay for your education, it pays for your output. No one gives you time to figure it out in public. You show up ready, or you get shown up. The podcast, for all its banter and brotherhood, operates on that same principle. But Flip's defense is honest, painfully honest. He tells them he's been isolated, that life kept him in his own world, that he's still catching up. There's something deeply human in that confession. It's a man saying, I want to learn, in a space that doesn't always reward that kind of humility. Joe, Ish, and Ice aren't being cruel when they press him. They're reenacting a generational ritual, the hazing of the new by the seasoned. They don't just test his intelligence, they test his durability. Can you take jokes? Can you laugh at yourself? Can you make it through the fire without losing your sense of self? Because that's the thing about male spaces like this. Beneath the teasing lies a kind of love. It's rough, unspoken, but real. Flip's presence forces the others to confront their own authority. He represents something they've outgrown but still recognize, that raw hunger to belong, to be taken seriously. Joe, especially, sees himself in that hunger. There was a time when he, too, was the loud one in the room, clawing for validation, trying to prove that emotion didn't mean ignorance. Over the years, Joe refined his chaos into something marketable. He built a career out of controlling the same fire that once burned him. Watching Flip fumble through his questions is like seeing a reflection of the man he used to be. But authority, once attained, can be a prison. Joe, Ice, and Ish have mastered the role of the informed voice, the man who knows, who's seen it all. That authority gives them power, but it also distances them from the raw energy Flip brings. Their frustration with him is really a frustration with what they've left behind, the messiness, the not knowing, the earnest curiosity that no longer fits inside the persona they've built. There's something almost tragic in the way they school him. They are trying to teach, but their lessons come in the language of ridicule. They clown his questions, but they also correct him. They call his inquiries dumb, but they keep answering them. In that exchange, you see the unspoken tenderness that defines so much of male mentorship in our culture, the refusal to admit care, the insistence that correction equals love. Flip doesn't take it personally. He listens, pushes back, jokes along. His laughter becomes a kind of armor, the same armor Joe once wore when he was the youngest man in a room full of older heads. What we're watching here isn't just a podcast argument. It's the transmission of cultural wisdom through the coded language of banter. In the Black community, knowledge has always been oral. We don't always hand down wisdom in books or lectures. We hand it down through talk, the kind that meanders, that jokes, that challenges. The Joe Budden podcast, for all its commercial gloss, is still that same tradition. It's four men in conversation, teaching and learning in a rhythm older than microphones. But the camera changes things. When you know an audience is watching, when you know every word might be clipped, every stumble might go viral, authenticity becomes a dangerous game. Flip's innocence, his willingness to ask stupid questions, breaks the unspoken pact of performance. It reminds the others and the viewers that most of us are still figuring things out. That most of us, if we're honest, don't know as much as we pretend to. The discomfort that ripples through the room is the discomfort of recognition. Joe prides himself on mastery, of conversation, of culture, of control. But mastery comes with its own anxiety. You have to maintain it. You have to make sure no one sees the cracks. Flip's presence threatens that equilibrium. His lack of polish makes visible what the rest of them have learned to hide, the uncertainty beneath the confidence. And yet, the exchange becomes beautiful in its way. As the jokes fly, as Flip gets teased and defends himself, a kind of rhythm emerges again, the sound of men trying to teach without admitting they're teaching. Ish steps in with the most practical wisdom, grounding the conversation in a reality that audiences don't have patience for context. Ice adds humor, softening the blows. Joe orchestrates it all, pushing Flip just hard enough to make him rise to the moment. By the end, something shifts. Flip thanks them, sincerely. He acknowledges that, for all the mockery, they've helped him grow. And Joe, in his own way, accepts that gratitude without softening. It's an old-school kind of mentorship, the belief that you learn best through trial, through embarrassment, through the friction of being tested. In this small moment, a few minutes of talk on a podcast, lies a reflection of how knowledge moves in the modern Black male world. Not through classrooms or sermons, but through the messy, funny, sometimes cruel space of conversation. Coates often writes about inheritance, about what is passed down not through blood, but through struggle, through story. What happens between Joe, Ice, Ish, and Flip is its own kind of inheritance. The old guard teaching the new one how to survive in a space where intellect, humor, and toughness intertwine.